Well, here we are on a raid of a different sort. It's a raid on the national capital, and I have just left Canberra Yacht Club, which you can sort of see over in the background behind me, and we're on Lake Burley Griffin, just leaving the Chinese embassy behind. I don't know if you can sort of see it in the background there. And today is that I'm going to attempt to circumnavigate Lake Burley Griffin, including going under the bridges. We'll see how it goes. So here is the rather calm weather of Lake Burley Griffin early in the morning. It's just after about 10 o'clock at the moment, I think, and you can see the flag is not exactly fluttering much on top of Parliament House. And coming around here now, you can see the bridge. I think that's Commonwealth Avenue, I believe. And you can see the Canberra city proper. And I think what I'm going to do is initially head off to the west, down to Scrivener Dam. Well, they've just fired up the Captain Cook fountain, so there being no wind, I think that's where I'll probably head and see if we can do the circumnavigating the fountain without changing tack trick, which all the Canberra sailors told me is possible. It's not the typical sort of foreshore you see on a raid. So that's looking across. I'm almost coming up to the bridge, looking back into the city in Canberra. And as I swing around to the front here, there's the bridge. And over to the side there, on the starboard side, is the National Library of Australia. So here we come underneath the Commonwealth Avenue bridge. I'm feeling a bit more confident now that the mast will go under. You can see the Australian American War Memorial, the eagle on top of the tower in the distance, and the Carillion round to the starboard a little bit. And here we go, under the bridge. Okay, first obstacle avoided, and now we'll put to the test the theory you can sail around this fountain without changing tack. Well, I think the way this thing works is the opposite as was described to me. It seems to me that the water coming back down again is what blows the air out. And it also seems like it's a very good thing I'm sailing a paradox, because at some point here you could get extremely wet. Anyway, we're about to find out. Well, here we are now in the wind generated by the fountain. Doing 0.2 of a knot. Probably needed to make a pass a little bit closer up. I'm going to run out of shore here, I think. But slowly getting lifted up into it, so interestingly, the wind indicator up there is there it goes. It's slowly swinging around more towards the fountain. And we've got a little bit, the breeze is slowly building again. It might have been better attempting this from the other direction. I can now feel the first of the water arriving. Now I'm actually starting to get a fairly strong gust from it. Certainly it's the most wind we've had this morning, even if it is swirling around like you would not believe. You can actually feel the boat kicking under the feet. Whilst the wind indicator up the top is going around the clock. Well, now I hope we don't get a strong gust of wind here, or I'm going to get very wet very quickly. That's actually quite spectacular. I think I probably needed to be closer in, but I am actually, as you can probably tell, probably the first quadrant of the full circle. You can see the High Court of Australia over there in the background. It's actually blowing about 15 knots here. It's just so turbulent that you can't really get any solid forward speed out of the boat. Again, it's not a good time for a gust of wind, and the flag at Parliament House has started flapping. It could be about to get wet. And as you can see, the wind continues to blow out from the... It's a bit alarming. This water is starting to follow me around. We're still kind of feel like I'm on Mythbusters here. Yes, it does seem like you can go around in a circle without changing tack. Look at that. So, ladies and gentlemen, the myth is confirmed. You can, in fact, sail all the way around the James Cook Memorial Fountain without changing tack. Although this little bit here is questionable, but I think I'm close enough in to avoid the prevailing wind tacking the boat. Oh, now I'm getting wet because its wind has changed. Oh, it's really kicking. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, I have done the complete 360. I have not tacked. And it can be done. There you go. And look at that. That is spectacular when you're this close. She is really kicking and bucking now. Okay, the myth is confirmed. You can in fact sail around this fountain without changing tack. Well, we're now clear of the influence of the fountain, and there's only the lightest of southeast breezes blowing. So you can see up in front there's the Australian-American War Memorial, and coming around we've got the Carillion Island, and there the nemesis of my working life, the High Court of Australia. And coming further around, you can see the flag up on the top of Parliament House is just hanging vertically, so no sign of much breeze coming. The National Library of Australia, and coming back around you can see the fountain back there behind us with its little circle of 15 knot winds. Shame they don't pump the water up a little bit higher. We might get a little bit more wind down here. The breeze has just kicked in a little bit. We're now coming up to one of the alignments in Canberra. We've got the new Parliament House up in the distance and the old Parliament House there in the foreground. The new Parliament House is slowly coming into view. God. Here we are, we're pretty much lined up now, so that's the view to the Parliament Houses to the south. And if we spin around to the other side of the boat, there's the Australian War Memorial. And we're pretty much exactly in the line right now. It looks like the afternoon land breeze is slowly kicking in. It's coming in from the northwest. It's enough to just make us ghost along. As I said earlier, it's not your usual raid. You certainly don't get views like that at Black Mountain in a normal raid. Oh, hang on, the breeze is now in a 180 degree swing to the east. So I have to haul in the sail. There's the Carillion. It's all very peaceful here at the moment. I hope nobody decides to start playing when I'm right next to it.
This time where she's gone, wondering if she's gonna stay. Wonder if she's gone, she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, I don't won't you leave that thing alone? She's in the sunshine where she's gone. Darkness everywhere. Ain't no sunshine where she's gone. Always gone too long. Anytime she...
Well, here we are back on the water after having lunch at this wonderful little pub, which is in that big tent area there over on the foreshore in front of the High Court. And the breeze, well, there is some. It's coming in gusts every 20 minutes or so, but it is now fairly consistently coming from the one direction, and so I'm now heading off down towards the Kingston foreshore area underneath the next bridge, and once we've gone around the bay down there, we'll head up to Scrivener Dam at the other end of the lake. So here's a view you don't see of the Carillion very often. Unfortunately, you can't circumnavigate this island because there's a causeway on the other side of it back to the mainland. And very soon you'll see the Australian American War Memorial out the back of it. So here we are coming up to the next bridge. And this time we are actually sailing. We had the motor on a little bit on the last occasion. Looks like there's a reasonable breeze on the other side of the bridge if we can sneak through. Could really do with an additional hand here. There we go. Looks like we're going to get under, and if we can get a decent gust out the other side, we won't hit the pier, which is rapidly coming up on the lee side of the boat. We have just made it there. You can sort of see how close we are to this pier. We're out the other side. I'm expecting to get a bit of a lift now, and I am. And we're through, and we're out into some reasonable sailing breeze on the other side. Back into the cleat, and we're off. Have it, viewers, under both bridges over Lake Burley Griffin. And we're now in the not often used eastern basin, the shallowest part of the lake, but ideal for a boat like a Paradox. Okay, we're now well down into the eastern basin, and you can put it as a point of reference. There's the Australian-American War Memorial, and coming around here we have one of Canberra's surfing beaches, and next to that, the building there, is the Boathouse Restaurant, which is actually where my oldest son and daughter-in-law got married 2 years ago, 2 and a little bit years ago. And as you swing around, the entrance to the entrance to the lake from the Molonglo rivers, sort of in all of that wetland area over there. And as you come around to this side, you come to the Kingston foreshore and all of the waterfront apartments, and there's a key development on the other side of the first row there, with like marinas and so on in between the 2 rows of buildings. And another surfing beach, it would appear, over there as well. Well, here we are coming into the Kingston, sorry, not the Kingston boat shed, but the boat shed restaurant area. And I see rigging up on the beach there is a very familiar looking boat, Chris Curtis with the... So there's the view heading back from where we just came from, and the Black Mountain Tower in the background. And there you can see it, the entrance to the Molonglo River. If I had more time, you can actually go up that quite a long way. You can't get all the way to Queanbeyan, but you can get about halfway to Queanbeyan. Well, here comes the unmistakable, the shape of a combi sailing canoe. Fancy bumping into you here. Yeah. The wind is all down around the fountain. I've actually proved that theory. It blows about 15 to 20 knots if you're getting close enough. And it's all within about a 20-foot radius. Bring an umbrella though. Here we are back under the bridges again. Just hoping I can get through without having to tack under here this time. The breeze has swung around more to the northwest. It looks like I'm safe. I'm going to get off that pillar. The breeze is now going around behind me a little bit. So we are now back in the central basin almost once we get under the next bridge. Okay, we're now back in the central basin again. Okay, Chris has made it through behind me. And we're off to the parliamentary triangle once again. There we are, looking into the central business district of Canberra, where unfortunately I have to go and work on Monday morning, but hopefully only for about 3 or 4 hours before returning to Newcastle. Unfortunately, the fountain has been turned off. Chris wanted to try my circumnavigation this morning, but he's not going to get the chance, unfortunately, unless they suddenly turn it on. So here we are back at the Commonwealth Avenue Bridge, and this time we've got a lot more wind to get under it than we did this morning. Although the wind still does funny things as you go under here. So now we're through into the West Basin, and we can start heading up the Yarralumla Reach towards Scrivener Dam. Well, we've left the hustle and bustle of Canberra behind. We're now well down into the, well, we're actually past the West Basin. That's, I think, Spinnaker Island directly the camera's aimed at, underneath Black Mountain Tower. And we're heading off down towards that clump of trees high on the hill over there. And that's the start of the Yarralumla Reach down towards Scrivener Dam, and right on cue. The breeze has just filled in a little bit and we're up to 3 knots, and it stays that way. We'll do this with ease. And on the other side here you can see Parliament House there up on the hill, and that area down on the waterfront there in front of us is the Canberra Yacht Club. That's where I put the boat in this morning, in the little cove behind it, which is more or less just in front of the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, which you can see in amongst the trees there. Have to make a correction on the last video. That is in fact not Spinnaker Island, that's Springbank Island. And Spinnaker Island is, I think, that clump of trees we're heading for, more or less straight in front there. Well, things are getting pretty hot, so I've decided now to drop into the bottom of the boat and sail from inside the cabin with the navigator down here. Georgie, say hello to the camera. There's Georgie, the navigator. General nuisance in the boat. I wouldn't go anywhere without her. And we've now got Spinnaker Island coming up on the starboard side, and on the other side here is the beach at Yarralumla, and Governor General's house is around here somewhere, I believe. Okay, now we've come around, we're heading off down to Currajong Point, which is right underneath, almost underneath the tower on Black Mountain. And once we get down there, we more or less do a jibe around the point and come almost straight back the way we've just come, but on the other side of Currajong Point. It's called the Yarramundi Reach, and at the other end of that, roughly where we are now, but on the other side of the hill over there, is Scrivener Dam, which is the dam that holds back all the water in the lake here. Well, here we are right underneath Black Mountain. In fact, you can't even see much of the tower anymore. So we're just about to go around Currajong Point, which is literally just there. And if I can get that low enough, you can see us going into the final basin of Lake Burley Griffin. And looking back up there, that's Yarralumla, are about to disappear behind the point. This part of the lake is pretty much exclusively a rowing part of the lake. And as we go down here, we'll actually be going down the rowing lanes, which should start to appear in the not too distant future. And here we are on the rowing course, and it's Scrivener Dam at the other end. Okay, here we are, right at the western extremity of Lake Burley Griffin. You can see a row of buoys on the water over there, and probably about 50 metres or so beyond those buoys is Scrivener Dam, which I think is that wall that you can see right there. And that's what's holding the water we're sailing on right now from flowing down to the Murrumbidgee River. Okay, well here we are, back up at the northern end of the Yarramundi Reach. It's Black Mountain Tower straight in front of us, right in the middle of the rowing course. Fortunately there's no rowing happening today. The wind's a little tricky up at this corner. It's about to do a massive turn on me. But once you get around the corner and get back down the Yarramalong Reach, back on the west basin, it was actually filling in quite nicely when I came down. Here we are right up underneath Black Mountain on the way home. Quite a reasonable breeze blowing now. It's been a lot of tacks to get up this reach, let me tell you. It's very narrow. And the wind swings all over the place all in amongst all of these trees. But once we get around the corner here, it won't be long before we're back in the west basin and things should settle down. Okay, we're back on the Yarramundi Reach, heading towards the West Lake. We're now leaving Black Mountain behind us. Over this side looks like we've got a few things over here. There's a bit of a slipway there and camping ground. One of the other surfing beaches on the lake. Here we are, we're just about off the Yarramundi Reach onto the west basin. As you can see from the flag on Parliament House, the breeze is really filled in, so it should be quite a nice upwind slog back to the Canberra Yacht Club. Relatively flat water and a nice cool breeze on what's been a fairly hot run down here to the Scrivener Dam. Island, which is the little island there with the large tree on it. And you can see the Canberra CBD starting to appear out of all the trees. Yarramundi Beach straight in front of us. Oh, the wind's really doing some funny things here. Now right up into the West Lake. Just see the roof of the Chinese embassy in the distance there. This is where we're heading. We've got a really nice breeze. It's filled in quite steady now. We're actually doing about 3.7 knots at the moment, which is really really good for this boat. We're just going past Spinnaker Island. Cut it quite close, of course this boat only draws 12 inches of water, so we can cut it really close. And straight in front of us is Springybank Island. Probably will go all the way over there before we're tacking back. Here we are, got the flag of Parliament House straight in front of us, the Canberra Yacht Club, the Chinese Embassy. There's a concert on the foreshore over there somewhere. We're almost done. Should be back on the trailer in about half an hour.